What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we're starting a new story. This was recommended by Bart Jones. You know, he always recommended some stories for, especially for Saiyan. Shout out to him. Shout out to Saiyan as well. And this is What If Bardock Raised Kakarot. You know, this is the story. I'm pretty sure he won't. Yeah. Make sure that's the right story. Yeah. What if Bardock raised Kakarot? Okay. Seems like an interesting title. So let's see what Saiyan goes with this story right here with the twists and turns. For right now, this story will kind of be like a quick throw-in story because I started like a couple of new stories already. Or no, I want to start. Well, I'm like between like 3 stories right now, and this is like the 4th one right here. So this will be like the kind of like the end of the week when I'm done with the other stories first, and then I'm gonna start this. Y'all know how I do it. Come on now, I ain't got to explain. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we'll get into it, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's go.
As I kind of like to do for my videos anyways, this Bardock is going to be a mix of Z Bardock and Super Bardock. I like to consider every event having happened to him. The encounter with the heaters on Cereal, him having a squad, him getting his foresight, and sending Kakarot away. Although with that last part we're going to have a pretty major tweak. Bardock does want to rebel against Frieza, but he has a different course of action here. Bardock does consider sending Kakarot away, but has a better idea. At the last minute, he decides he's going to leave with Guinea and Kakarot too. Where are they supposed to go though? He almost sent Kakarot to some planet called Earth, but he found another place, a planet called Yardrat, one that isn't known just yet by the Frieza Force, which means it's not on their radar either. The real reason I'm doing this is because this is a more unique way to do the story, rather than everyone going to Earth. But also in Bardock's eyes, he's heard a strange rumor about this planet. While he doesn't necessarily know what goes on there, since it is off of Frieza's radar after all and they know nothing about it, he did hear some other Saiyan mention it. The people there apparently have weird abilities. So maybe they can go there, and then go to Earth so they're completely off the radar. They can go to this place Yardrat and maybe learn whatever abilities they have. But it shouldn't be a permanent settlement, because if some Saiyans know about this place, maybe some other people in the Frieza Force do, so that could be an issue.
Right.
And Raditz does find out, of course, too. He knows to check Yardrat first, then check Earth. Whenever he wants to seek them out, he'll find them. Kinda like what he knew about Kakarot in the main story. That settles it. Bardock, Kakarot, and Guinea all go to this planet, escaping just as the planet is destroyed. They almost didn't make it. Bardock knew this would happen, and he watches in horror, seeing the entire planet be turned into nothing. Thankfully, they slip under the radar because when they're escaping while the planet explodes, Frieza's not going to notice those few small ships flying out. They drift farther and farther away from planet Vegeta, as the explosion dies down and nothing is left of the planet. Not long after, they land on Yardrat. 3 Saiyan pods crash into the planet, and of course the Yardrats end up noticing, but thankfully they're not hostile. Bardock explains who he is, and actually why he's here too. He's strong, especially by low-class Saiyan standards, but he needs to be way stronger to defeat Frieza. And he knows that these people, they might have some sort of strange abilities. The reason he's here is because he wants to learn from them. Whatever they have, he might be able to use.
And
he's not sure if they're going to be up for it too, but he does tell them Frieza might come to this planet one day. Some Saiyans did know about it after all, so who knows how many people in the Frieza Force know about it. Obviously, we know later that it eventually goes on the Ginyu Force's radar, but not for a while. And Bardock doesn't know that either, but still, he just theorizes. And this info is helpful to them because they know that they're going to have to defend themselves someday, maybe. And at the same time, Bardock will help defend them too, just in exchange for learning those techniques. And clearly the population here isn't very reluctant to teach people, considering Goku crash landed there after Namek and was able to learn something from them too. And right from here, we enter a giant time skip. But what happens over this time? It's about 2 decades later. Bardock eventually did start training with the Yardrats, trying to learn these powers. Kakarot also started training with him too. Bardock does want to whip him into shape after all. And Kakarot, he knows everything that happened. He watched Planet Vegeta be destroyed. That's one of his core memories. This isn't Goku who forgot everything about his past. This is Kakarot. He knows everything that happened there. And he's motivated to grow stronger. I mean, he is a Saiyan after all. Of course he does want to grow strong. He has that desire to fight within him too. But seeing that, it gives him even more of a reason to try and grow. And you know, while Bardock said he did want to go to Earth eventually, they don't really need to. They can grow so strong here, especially with all this time trying to learn spirit control. He might want to stay for a while.
I ain't gonna lie. Look, I love the new Broly movie. I really do love it. But I ain't gonna lie. Taking Bardock out this fit right here, top tier fit, top tier. He had that shit on with the red head, nigga, with the red, the motherfucking the Saiyan armor, nigga. That's Bardock. Like I ain't really fuck with this one. I ain't really fuck with. You know, he had the regular shit on, Like, it was cool.
Hell, they've actually already settled in here. Earth is always an option if they do need to go off the radar, but for now, it doesn't seem like Yardrat is in any danger. Besides, he and Gine end up having another kid too. Just like in that last story where I did this, Bardock and Gine end up having a daughter. If you haven't seen that last story, well, for one, go watch it. I'll link it up here, or wherever. Watch it after this video. Up to you, I'll be here waiting. But it was one of the few stories where I ended up creating an original character for it, and it's Bardock and Gine's third child.
We don't do original characters.
People seem to like her inclusion in the last story, so I'm going to include her here again, especially because it is inspired by that last one. She's born a few years after they land there, once the family's all settled in on this planet. But Bardock's wondering where Raditz is. He hasn't tried to seek them out yet. And Bardock could try to seek out Raditz, but he doesn't know what his energy feels like. Of course, by now he knows how to sense energy, and knows instant transmission, but he has no way of finding him. He never knew what Raditz's energy felt like before, and doesn't know now. Besides, if he even did find him, it might be risky. What if he teleports in and then he's there with some Frieza Force members, and they'll know about his existence? It's too risky. They just need to wait for Raditz to find them, rather than the other way around. But this isn't terrible. Bardock could make a new life here. This planet, it's peaceful, at least for now. And this life isn't like his old Saiyan life. He still gets to train and fight and grow as strong as he wants. Besides, he's raising two of his newest rivals, Kakarot and Ruda. He doesn't just want them to grow strong out of pride. He wants them to grow strong so he has a rival to fight. They can be just as strong as him, maybe even stronger. The two find a rivalry with each other though. And obviously they don't grow up like normal Saiyans. So let's actually cover a little bit of what they're like. Personality-wise, we'll start with Ruda. She takes more after Bardock, and it's kind of like a mix of him and the Goku that we know. She has a love for fighting, she's pretty extroverted, and she's a little hot-headed sometimes. Very outgoing and motivated. And as for Kakarot, physically, yes, this is the same person as Goku, but he's a completely different character. Not just in name. Kakarot is a lot more reserved. He remembers everything and why they came here, kind of like I covered before. He has a huge respect for his father, and he's just as driven to defeat Frieza as his father. And while he is kind of a serious guy all around, he does have a strongly un-Saiyan-like connection to his family and his Yardrat friends. Which is very weird because Saiyans don't normally have that. They don't have those family ties, but Kakarot does. And obviously Ruda will too, because she was born way after that. Kakarot's a good representation of what kind of Saiyans they are. He's like Ruda, in the sense that he's a new generation that'll act like different Saiyans. But he's also like the past Saiyans, being born when that planet was still around. He's in between those generations, essentially. At least in terms of how he carries himself. He does share one big thing with Goku, though, and his whole family has this. They're all incredibly driven to be stronger. Kakarot does also have a goal of being the strongest out there. He wants to continually push his limits. Hard work is what will make him strong. He is a low-class warrior after all. He's not going to be gifted that strength right at birth. Right. He has to work for it. As for Bardock and Gine, well, they have the same personality as normal. Gine might actually pick up some new abilities for herself, and Bardock might even try and convince her to fight again. She did used to be part of his squad after all, but that's not for her anymore. Besides, she's confident in Kakarot and Ruda. Plus, whenever they find
Bardock was fucking the shotty from the squad?
Maybe she will train and fight occasionally, but again, it's not really her thing anymore. She stopped it for a reason, and while she does want to help Bardock too, she's also a lot more reserved than before. But can still defend herself if needed too, and fight alongside others. So, this is where we are at the end of that time skip. Bardock, Kakarot, and Ruda have all grown a lot stronger, and they have a great control and spirit, and the abilities that go alongside it. Paibara has long since had them as students, and is thrilled to see how strong they've grown. The best part is, no one ever came to Yardrat. They've never been attacked, and that's the good thing. They've never needed to use this power, but even if they did, he feels like the planet's in good hands. I might eventually cover Earth's history in this story, but that's not really important right now. What is important is what time period we're in. We're in age 761. This is the same time Raditz initially arrived on Earth. Of course, here though, he knows to try and get Yardrat first. That way he could find his family. He doesn't exactly know where they are, but now he wants to seek out Kakarot, and Bardock and Gine for that matter. Vegeta and Nappa need another Saiyan to help them, and Raditz knows they're out there somewhere. He thought eventually he'd find them by now, but clearly they wanted to be hidden for a reason. So first he sets his sights on Yardrat, and if they're not here, he'll go to that planet called Earth. Both of these planets are relatively unknown to him. He just knows to check them. One day on Yardrat, the ground starts shaking. It looks like a meteor's fallen from the sky. The locals see it and start panicking, as a man steps off. And this guy, he seems hostile. As he steps off his ship, he's surrounded by a swarm of Yardratians. And while they weren't hostile before, they're kind of worried now seeing an invader here. And Raditz is very off-putting. He doesn't necessarily have a resemblance to the rest of his family here. There are some Yardratian warriors. They're not incredibly strong, but they do know how to use spirit control. And they've been trained to defend the planet because they knew that someone would show up one day. Maybe this is someone from the Frieza Force, ready to destroy them. They don't immediately attack, but they're on guard. And that tells Raditz too. He might need to fight these people. And part of him thinks maybe it's best not to fight, but at the same time, he is a Saiyan. And we saw how Raditz acted when he got on Earth after all, antagonizing that random farmer that tried to stand up against him. He prepares for a battle here. The Yardratian warriors all assume a battle stance, with Raditz doing the same. He smirks, but then his scouter goes off. Someone is coming right towards him, and it's a strong power. He's then punched right in the face by someone, completely blindsided, and he looks to see some woman standing there. It's Ruda. She flew over as quick as possible once she sensed everyone's energy flare up. Again, she can act a bit rash sometimes, which is why she just attacked immediately, not even checking who this guy is. But Raditz did seem like a threat after all, and Raditz is confused, and she has a tail. She bears some sort of resemblance to his mother and father. This doesn't click with him right away too, because obviously he doesn't know that he has a sister.
Right.
And Ruda has no clue what Raditz looks like either. She only sees a threat here. And once again, Raditz doesn't really share a resemblance, so she doesn't immediately notice that this might be her brother. But the two of them being a bit high-tempered right now, a fight ensues. Raditz tries to stop her, trying to figure out what's going on here too. But of course he's going to try and fight back as well. Not that it's going to do much though. Ruda effortlessly beats Raditz, knocking him to the ground.
Raditz, you behind,
standing
nigga.
over him triumphantly as the other warriors cheer. Bardock, Kakarot, and Gine then fly over, and Bardock's face contorts in horror. He sees Ruda standing over what looks to be Raditz. Is he dead? And Ruda tells him there's no need to worry. She doesn't know who this guy is, but she beat him up. He clearly seemed like a threat, and she gives a thumbs up to all of them. He wasn't too hard to defeat. Bardock and Gine look on in complete shock, with Kakarot wondering why they're so nervous, and Bardock just points and says, that's their brother. Ruda looks down, then recognizing the armor and seeing the tail too. Oh, so that's the long-lost Raditz that she heard about. Not a good introduction.
Bitch.
She lifts him up, and he's angered and confused, ready to kill her. But then his eyes widen. He sees Bardock and Gine and what looks to be an older Kakarot. So they are here, and that's his little brother, all grown up. And he looks back at Ruda. So this is his sister? Obviously he's very out of the loop, and it's not really his fault either. Ruda profusely apologizes as they patch Raditz up. It was a big misunderstanding, and they thought Yardrat was in danger. And Raditz can't believe he was beaten so easily, especially if this is his younger sister, even younger than Kakarot. They've been on this planet for however long. And out of curiosity, he pulls up his scouter again, looking at their power levels. Bardock was already about 10k when he left Planet Vegeta, so Raditz wonders where he's at now, and he can't believe what he's seeing. Their powers are in the single digits. That's because they're suppressing their strength. But let's actually cover some power levels here. Raditz is obviously the same, so we're not going to cover him. The big difference here is everyone has spirit control, which is shown to give a significant increase in strength. And over the past few decades, Bardock, Kakarot, and Ruda have been training. So, Bardock's at about 120k.
Damn.
Way stronger than he was originally. Kakarot's surprisingly grown very quickly too. Despite being weak as a baby, at least by Saiyan standards, now his power is at about 70k. And Ruda's not too far behind. I would say she's about 3 years younger than Kakarot, so naturally she would be weaker, but she's been training on Yardrat her entire life. So she's at about 60k. And even Gine is a lot stronger too, at 10,000, which is where Bardock initially was. A lot of this is attributed to spirit control, but they have been training a lot here, and you might wonder why they're actually not stronger than this.
120
well, the resources
crazy.
aren't that great. They don't have the same healing pods that they had before, so they can't really exploit Zenkais as much. And it's just the three of them training together. Besides, Bardock did have to spend a lot of time whipping Kakarot and Ruda into shape. But still, these power levels are huge. Raditz is just amazed. Even his mother is stronger than him, and she barely trained here. And not only that, but the three others. They're all stronger than Vegeta and Nappa. Hell, even Gine's stronger than Nappa too. And with Raditz being so weak in comparison, he doesn't even know what to think. He takes off his scouter and turns it off, telling them everything, giving them all the info possible. He stayed with Nappa and Vegeta this entire time. If they all team up, they can destroy Frieza. That's why he came here. He wanted to recruit some more Saiyans to help them. As far as Frieza knows, they're just going to need some more help destroying some planet and taking it over so Frieza could sell it. But really, they want to rebel against him. But Bardock's not sure. Frieza's powerful, very strong. Even with how strong they are now, that might not be enough. Besides, he doesn't really want to work with Vegeta. He assumes he's kind of like his father, and maybe even worse. And yeah, Raditz says he could be a pain in the ass sometimes, but still, they could all band together. They're all Saiyans with a similar purpose. That's what they should do. But then Bardock realizes,
working together, man.
Wait, so Vegeta and Nappa knew where Raditz went, right? And he had that scout around the entire time. Well, yeah, of course. Oh crap. Well, the scouter's off now at least, but this whole time, Raditz had the scouter on. His location was broadcasted to Frieza, and Frieza probably saw that he got beat up by somebody. Or at least heard it happen. Frieza could have been listening the entire time. Now he knows where Raditz is. He knows where the other Saiyans are too. Yardrat's now on the map for him.
Yeah, Raditz, you a hoe ass nigga.
Raditz turns pale. Oh crap. A very big screw up here. Bardock did want to stay here longer. But the thing is, Frieza probably knows of his existence now. He probably knows that some Saiyans escaped, and he knows to check this planet too. Bardock wanted to wait as long as possible to attack Frieza. But now, he doesn't really have a choice. Although, there might be a way to work around it. His cover's been blown. After all this time, Frieza might know about him. But he'll think of something. A way to work around this. A new plan that everyone could follow. Maybe they can come up with a story. Maybe they could figure out something to do. Something to at least save them for now. Alright, well, looks like he's gonna have to think on his feet.
Yeah,
He'll have to either find some way to grow strong quickly, find some way to defeat Frieza quickly, or both. And they need to figure out what to do in the time being, especially to keep Yardrat safe. As Bardock begins pondering his next move, this is where we're gonna leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part? What do you think's gonna happen next?
Okay.
Leave any thoughts or ideas in the comments.
Okay, I fucks with it. Shout out to Saiyan. Okay, I like shit. I want to see how if Bardock gonna be the person to get the dub against Frieza, and how the rest of the story gonna go, man. You know what I'm saying? You got Kakarot, Radish, you got the family back together again. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Saiyan again, and check out some other Saiyan reactions right here, and check out another video of a What If Dragon Ball story right here. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.